My last video of the night. It's 3:18 my time in the morning, and I'm up doing reviews, honey. I got a Black Ink Crew and Have and Have Nots. If you haven't watched that, please make sure that you do watch that after watching this. This is Queen Sugar. Tonight's episode 6 of season 2, Line of Elder Review Child. Now we start this episode off with Nova and Ryan. Child, I'm still on Black and Crew with Nova and Ralph Angel standing at this tree, putting up a flyer of the meal opening, and Ralph Angel is asking Charlie, Nova, why you taking a picture? She said so she could show Charlie. He said if she felt that if it was important, she would have been there for them to instead of having to have a picture. So clearly he's still salty. Nova reminded him that their sister is making history today. So let's chill with the foolishness, please. Now Charlie and Michael, they standing outside the mill staring at the new sign. He's saying Grandpa would be proud, and she's watching as the work is being completed so that they would have the opening. I'm assuming later on that day or the next day. She says she just wants everything to be perfect. She wants today to be a success. And Michael said just today only, jokingly with her. Now, over at the farm, Nova is still over there with Ralph Angel, and she comes across this check as he bitching and complaining, excuse me, about the refrigerator not working anymore. She finds a check for Daddy Bordelon for a little over $600, and no one seems to know where that check is coming from. Okay. Now we go over to the mill, and Ben Harrison arrives. He's the guy that's supposed to do an expose in this magazine for the opening of the mill. Okay. Now originally it was supposed to have been someone named Adam that she had worked with in the past, but he assures her that he's not Adam, but he's just as good. And they begin the first part of a series of interview in order to write this article. And he's saying that the move from L.A. to St. Joseph was a bit extreme, and he want to know why she chose to do that. Was she telling him that, as a result of her daddy's death and his wishes, that's why she moved there? But he's bringing up the fact that her move coincided with around the time that Davis was brought up on those charges. She let him know that was settled first and foremost, and I'm sure you already know this. Then he began to ask, where is Davis? And she said that he had a prior engagement, and the reporter is picking. He looking for something. He's saying that it's a shame that he's missing such a huge event as their meal opening, especially when it's the first one of this kind in that area. So we see Ben is here. He not here to run this article about the meal and the legacy of Daddy Borderline. He here trying to get up information on Charlie and Davis's relationship. Now let's go on over to Unbind Hollywood because they joking about the ingredients she sent him out to get for her pies, and then he offers to help her complete it while she goes with the family over to the grave marker, and she said no need, she not going, and he asked why. She said we buried him once, ain't no need to do it twice. Nova goes over to where go to see where this check came from. She went to that address, and unfortunately, the lady, who I'm assuming is a human resource representative or something, informed her that Daddy Bordelon had been moonlighting there as a janitor, and she is totally in shock. The lady said he was highly respected by his peers, and she wondered why he stopped coming, but she did give Nova this box of his belongings out of his locker. Now, Ben is interviewing Remy and Charlie at this point as he explaining, the importance of each and every little aspect of the meal. And he's telling the man, Ben, that this is going to be a huge step and very important, especially for the black farmers of this area. Ben decides he wants to then question Remy's involvement because he's seeing Remy, he's seeing Charlie, he still ain't seen Davis, right? he asking him, has he been a part of this I guess this process since the onset, because clearly Charlie and her husband aren't proficient in this area, and he fishing. Charlie explains that Remy is a professor of agriculture at LSU, and he was very instrumental in helping them get this mill up and running. Remy explained that Daddy Borderline was not just, the person who this vision came from, but he was also a very good friend of mine, and a very close friend of mine. And by that, being assumed that Charlie and Remy had somewhat of a brother sister like relationship, and he said exactly. That's exactly what we got. Now Ralph Angel and Blue, they in this store, and as he goes to pay for the items, the two little drinks they got, the cashier lady looks up at him and freaks completely out, talking about, I lost my job because of you. He said he didn't know who she was. She talking about, no, I remember your face. He began to panic just as much as she did, because she going off right there in front of little Blue. So he throw the money up on the counter and tell Blue, let's go, and they chunk deuces real fast, like, okay. Now, Charlie, she explains to Remy that Davis and her will announce their divorce once it's settled. That's why Ben was bringing up Davis' name. She says she decided to take advice from a friend who told her to focus on getting herself together and rebuilding her life before opening up any other aspects of relationships with other people. And she admitted that she is actually seeing a therapist, and he was quite proud and impressed, I would say. Now Charlie went to see Darla. She sent Darla to change her clothes, because Darla had came in there. She had messed her clothes up. She had a cup of coffee and was trying to answer a call and do something else, and wind up staining her shirt. So she sent her off to go get an outfit to put on. Told her it's no problem, you know. And she wound up helping Michael actually get his bow tie together as he's preparing himself for the opening of the mill and the ceremonies that's gonna go on. Now, Charlie been being interviewed again for this piece about the mill, and she's saying that the man asked her about her being the first black mill owner in the area and how other mill owners felt about it. She said that ain't no concern of mine. You know, that's not her concern. And he then tried to steer it back over yet again to Davis, and she didn't bite. So he turns off the recording and asks her, look, are you going to be more forthcoming about what's really going on around here? Or are you going to keep playing this song and dance about everything, all roads leading back to your daddy and him being the reason for the season, in other words? She told him straight up she unaware of what the hell he wants, but she giving him what this story is supposed to be about, which is the meal and her daddy's legacy coming to fruition. And that's it. Now, the Landrys done sent Charlie this very beautiful bouquet, welcoming her to the circle. hmm Now, Nova confronts Ralph Angel and Prospect about finding out that Daddy Borderline was working as a janitor. Ralph Angel ain't have no idea. She said, "How you didn't know you did that?" He said, I ain't know." Okay. Prospect said he knew Ernest was doing something, but he didn't know what it was. Well, we know now he was moonlighting as a janitor. Okay. Now, Hollywood wants Vi to attend the grave ceremonies that's gonna go on for Ernest, not for the kids, but because they are truly grown, like he told her last episode. Because she's Ernest's sister, and it's the respectful thing to do, and she had to realize that he's right. I don't think she wanted to do it because she still pains her deeply losing her brother. That was my perspective. If y'all got something else out of that, feel free to leave it down in the penny. Now we at the meal opening ceremonies, and Charlie is delivering this speech thanking Daddy Bordelon for starting the vision, and she and her siblings are going to carry it on. It was a nice ceremony and a great speech done by her. They had the cutting of the ribbon ceremony. But the part of that ceremony was done by two. I don't remember. They some people, some legislative people in Louisiana. So, child, that's what they was. Okay, next was the part where all the farmers bring some of their crop and place it in this bin, and that is done as a sign of unity, starting with Ralph Angel and Lil Blue, and then the other farmers joined in. That was real nice. Now, Ralph Angel asked Darla, "You not only working for Charlie now, but you wearing her clothes." She explains, "Don't come on now. I waste some coffee on me," and she said that I could put this on. He actually tell her she looks pretty good in it, so I guess he's starting to calm his nerve. At least that's what I thought. There was a choke in the machine that caused the alarm system to go off, and Charlie panicked. When she get up there, they're explaining to her that this is not uncommon and to let these workers do what they do. She wants to manually unstop the machine, so she's over there just pulling stuff out the machine, just going crazy with it. Remy trying to tell her stop, let the people do their job. She didn't calm down and stop until Nova got her to stop and step away to allow the workers to do their job. Ben, on the other hand, is standing on the sideline getting all of this tea, okay? Charlie says she upset because it was supposed to be perfect. We find out that her dad asked her to come, but she was in the middle of all of that drama breaking out about Davis and these alleged the rape stuff and all of that. So she didn't get there. She was going through that mess and she felt guilty because she didn't get there in time enough to say goodbye to her daddy. That's why she worked so hard for this to be a success. Nova said that her and her dad didn't even speak that much. And by the time she did make it to the hospital, he couldn't even talk anymore. So their desire to make sure that this goes out perfectly was inspired by the guilt for possibly not giving Daddy Bordelon all the time that they could have given him. Time equals love, support, and just presence, and that means the world to especially our older people sometimes. Nova explains to Micah that it was not just a regular job for her mom, for his mom, because she went off. She put her heart into this, and to Charlie, failure ain't never an option. And plus, she did it. Everything she intended to do, she did it. She has the first black-owned mill in Louisiana. She has the first black-owned mill in Louisiana. I said, you better do it, girl. You did work hard. Now, Charlie winds up rejoining Ben. She done composed herself, and she asking if he'd like to finish and offered him a drink. He's bringing up the breakdown, and he's wanting more info on that. He said he sees through it. He's seeing through the charade she's been given. What he sees is a woman putting her life back together after something really bad happened with her family, and that's more relatable. That's what he wants. She said, "Well, look, let me tell you something. I want you to write this piece like you're supposed to write this piece surrounding this meal and the legacy of my father. And if you do that, I will give you an exclusive because I am divorcing Davis. Do your part, I'm going to give you this interview." He agreed. Later, Charlie and Darla talking, and we find out that Charlie mama and Darla daddy is just alike. They perfectionists and control freaks, okay? That push them sometimes a little bit too hard. They share an iced tea because she had at first offered that girl a drink, but she realized what she was doing and she apologized. And Darla admitted that it's coming up to her 2 year anniversary of her being sober, and they're gonna be having a little ceremony soon. And she invites Charlie, and Charlie accepted it. Darla thanked her for the job and admitted that having something to do on a schedule every day helps with her sobriety. Charlie said, "Well, it's a win-win situation because I needed you here." And I said, "Oh, I like the relationship that's building there." I don't know. Charlie might mess around. I like her. I almost cause I'm trying not to. Now, at Ernest's gravesite, Nova is speaking to her mom's spirit as Anbai comes up and admits she too misses her miserably, and they embrace. And like I said, I think that's part of why she didn't want to deal with this. They bless the stone of Ernest Bordelon's final resting place as the family is um, standing there, and Nova speaks out and says to her father that we are here, Daddy. We respect you, your wishes. We respect you. Your wishes are done as you asked. They will keep the farm going. Um, she said they're gonna keep the farm because I ain't write it down. I'm trying to remember. She told them they're gonna keep the farm going, rest in peace, and that that her and her siblings will continue on the legacy he left behind. Yeah, that's what she said. Now afterwards, we go to Unbind Hollywood to eat. Okay. First, we got to deal with Ralph. Well, our Ralph Angel got to deal with Blue. He upset because he didn't realize this ain't Kenya. Kenya had a birthmark I gave her. He admits to Blue finally that Kenya was thrown away. Blue is upset because he think Kenya did something and he think he did something. Ralph Angel is embracing him, telling him you didn't do anything wrong. It's okay. And then Ralph, the baby asked him why that lady at the store called you a liar, and he said he not lying anymore. And I said, Lord Jesus, Ralph Angel, no, because I already knew what they meant. Now let's get to the dinner table because Ralph Angel asked to do the grace, and he started off good. Then it shifted, child. It was a shift in the atmosphere, and he said he ain't been being honest with the family. On by like Ralph Angel finished the grace. Charlie, of course, you know she gonna be on it. She wanted to know what he meant by that. He began to tell them that he found another part of the will. Daddy Borderline had a lockbox in his closet up in his room, and basically he left the land to him and Blue, all of it, because he knew he needed it. Nova got in her feelings and went on her rant about their daddy worked as a janitor till the day he died to provide for Blue because Ralph Angel wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. He was in and out of prison. Charlie say, you used me for my money. He said it wasn't like that, and I said it wasn't like that too, which only doubled down, made her even more mad because she like, well, you knew about it. She said, Charlie, I ain't know that long. Darla tried to step in and say that he wasn't using her as well. She got even more mad because now she know Darla knew too. I said, Lord. Child, they got retarded in there. They got so mad that I had to tell Michael, take Blue outside. Next thing you know, they get to arguing. The sisters feeling like Ralph Angel don't deserve it. That he played them and didn't tell them the truth. He trying to say that that wasn't what his intentions was. He didn't know all along. He recently found out. Next thing I know, you know what always happens when people get to arguing and you know, stuff hit home, people get ready to leave. But I ain't having it today. She stood in front of that door and said, look here. No one is leaving here until we get this settled. They all crying and they in their feelings and they mad and Hollywood just sitting there like Lord, and we go off from there. Tonight was a good episode to me. It wasn't a whole lot, but what they gave was a good episode, and I really did enjoy it. I think I did hit all of the highlights of the show. If there's anything that I left out, y'all please feel free to put that down there in the panty section. We always converse down there and get one with each other. So do that, and y'all remember the depth of your struggle will determine the height of your success. In the meantime, in between time, please remember to like this video. Talk to me down in the panty. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And share this video wherever it is that you share videos if you're so inclined. And I will see you guys back. The next video will be Fuck Shit Friday. It may come out late tomorrow night, late tonight, which is Thursday. It's going to be Thursday night. Or it'll be first thing Friday or sometime throughout Friday. I still got to work. I got about 4 hours I can get in before I have to start again, child, and go to work. So I hope y'all enjoyed this review. I did promise that I would continue to do it. Regardless of the views, I'm doing this one simply for my love thing. So y'all have a good night. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about this episode down in the panty. Y'all have a good one. Peace.